Alright, welcome back everyone. 欢迎大家回来。今天是第267天 is day 297. We're starting with HanziHero today. Largely because WaniKani lessons do not come up for another hour and a half, which gives us time to fit in our HanziHero session beforehand. Pretty good yesterday. Yesterday was comfy. Aside the one, which was Jing. Very tight. Right, Jing. We didn't really change anything about this. I think pretty good where it is. See if we see future problems with it. Alright. Get into our lessons.
旱灾
Anti drought disaster. Anti
旱灾，情侣
情侣 feelings the associate. Okay. What? Oh.
情侣
情侣
雇主
雇主 Ooh. Who's the new one? Hire 主 Hire master. The employer. Fair enough.
雇主
雇主
干旱
干旱 dry, drought, arid. Does it still go with dry and drought? Okay. I'm like, it's not that big of a difference.
干旱
干旱
雇员
雇员 Alright. Hire member. Sure.
雇员旱灾 情侣雇员雇主干旱
pretty
祈
safe.
福
祈福 pray for riches or pray for fortune, pray for blessing, or pray for happiness. Ooh. Interesting. Oh yeah, that is happiness, yes. Or being fortunate in some way. Kind of have the feeling of fortunate. 祈福 Okay. T is kind of weak.
祈福
祈福 Okay.
斩首
斩首 Okay. John is a little weak, but chop off the head. Alright.
斩首
Okay.
斩断
斩断 cut off. That's
斩断
or chop off.
匆匆而去
匆匆而去匆匆 Right. Hurry 而去 Hurry and go. Okay. Yeah. 匆匆而去
匆匆而去 幼稚园，
幼稚园，幼 young 是 childish 园，okay. Park kind of lines up with the other kindergarten. Excuse me.
幼稚园，
幼稚园. All right. Pretty okay.
祈福，
Cool.
匆匆而去，幼稚园，斩首，斩断，
Okay.
耕作，
耕作 plow make or do plowing. Okay. Sure enough.
耕作，桑树，
桑树 mulberry bush. Okay.
桑树，
Or mulberry tree, not bush.
发芽，
发芽发生长芽 Oh, 生长 a sprout. Okay, it's a sprout. That's a good one.
发芽，鸭，
Yeah, for girl. Oh man, I didn't even realize this thing can stand alone. The character that was interesting. Horn with a rod is how they visualize it. It's right in the middle of maid. The maid radical. Ya, Y for ya, I guess. Yoshi is in front of the auditorium where he is standing in line. Suddenly, a girl with horns. Okay. Comes out of nowhere and starts chasing Yoshi and hitting him with a rod. Yoshi runs around and even tries to throw green spotted eggs at the girl to make her stop, but it is of no avail. He runs from the girl as the others in line for tickets point and laugh. Ugh. The auditorium, though. That's... Yato. Really? I was expecting something like a... Yanu or Ya or like... Ya... Something like that. Oh, Yato. Interesting.
鸭，店，
In pasture. Okay, that can be... Well, there's a rice field in there. That container kind of make it look like a kun or ke or a shin. Okay. Diddy Kong is... Oh no, it's Dian. Do I have any Dans that kind of look like this? I don't think so. Diddy Kong is in the bathroom of the pawn shop, which he has decided to convert into his own pasture. That's not going to work very well. He opens up a special container that he just bought, and out comes a rice field that plops onto the top. Alright. Working out very well. Ian. Okay. So Diddy Kong is in the bathroom pawn shop. Wait, washing off some of the produce he stole from the neighboring pasture and rice field. Washing off some of the produce. From the container he stole from the neighboring pasture and rice field to pawn off at the shop. Okay. Myanmar, really? Mian. Oh, what type of mian is that? Mian? Mian Dian. Interesting. Garden of Eden? I don't know which Yi that is. Kind of looks like Yi Dian Yuan. Oh, yeah, Eden, and then Yuan, the garden. Eden Yuan. That's a good one. Eden Yuan. Cheng Dian Dian. Pasture? Chen? Sink? Pasture? Interesting. Unfortunately, these two are names. And then this one is not giving me pasture vibes. This one's a little weird. Oh, there, Bree. 5 in a row. Mm-hmm.
店
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention. Did you start watching the new season of The Diplomat? I watched like 1 episode so far, but I'm kind of in the middle of another show. Sprout.
发芽
Oh yeah.
桑树
桑树
耕作 店
Yeah. Kind of a roundabout way of this character.
洗
You didn't even know it was out? You have not been keeping up on shows lately? Well, I know what I'm watching tonight. Yeah, I watched the first episode. Apparently, Diplomat is in its peak right now. From the reception that I've cursorily looked over. Yeah, the season 3 is pretty hype. I only saw 1 episode so far though, because I'm in the middle of Resident Alien. I'm actually on the last 2 episodes of season 4, which is the current season, and Resident Alien is also like peaking as well. So season 4 is, it's one of those things that you wait 3 whole seasons to pay out certain things, and all of them are dumped onto season 4. Qi. Nose. Oh no, that's not nose. That's second. Nose is on WaniKani. To beg. You do kind of look like beggar. What was beggar? Not in. What is beggar in Japanese? Oh no. We have beggar with the alms bowl. This is probably going to be linked up with that one. It's recent. What was it? Guy. Qi Gai or Gai Qi, maybe? That'll be interesting. Let's see. Second handgun. Kirby is in the basement of the house where he has been reduced to a state of destitution. What? Is covered in dust and is begging for food. Alright. No. We're not doing this. Let's think about something else. This is not my Kirby archetype. We're leaning heavy on archetypes now. So Kirby is in the basement of this house. Oh man. Looking for food. Maybe he's just chilling when suddenly an acquaintance, a starving companion, or maybe a minion, right? Attempts to ambush him. Begging for food while brandishing a handgun. Kirby smiles and offers him his seconds on his food, and they become friends. That's kind of a narrative that I think Kirby would be part of. All right. Oh yeah, there it is. Yep. Guy. We just got Guy recently for beggar. So that makes sense. Beg and beggar put together. Guy. And then Qiu. Oh, to beg for. Beg and request.
喜
Yeah.
饿
Oh boy. Just looks like nothing. I don't even know the basis of All the look dramatically different. And there's no pattern to Everything could be a Heckin' Alright. I mean, do you look like something? What do you look like? I don't really have a large attachment of postage stamps. Or is that a no paperclip? Yeah, no large attachment to paperclip. This thing? Slope? Or cliff? No, not too much attachment either. So neither of these have a large attachment to any particular sound. I guess it's fine, I suppose. Master Chief is in the bathroom at the electricity plant, where he is in distress. He hangs from the top of a cliff that's in the middle of the electricity plant bathroom. Okay. Holding on via a single paperclip, which is bending under the distress of Master Chief's weight. He calls out cries of distress, hoping so. Okay, this is not Master Chief. Let's say Master Chief rushed to the bathroom of the electricity plant, where he is working as a guard. There was an accident. With a paper clip hitting a generator, causing the bathroom wall to collapse over a cliff. Kind of like exploded or something. And he is helping out with all the people in distress. Okay. Ugh. Oh, what is that? Zhao, no, Yuan. Oh, interesting. To carry distress. I thought maybe Jiao, like misfortune, possibly. From afar, it's kind of hard to tell. So, Ecuador, Ecuador, Ecuador. That's pretty good actually. Ecuador. This is really fun. Reading transliterations. You know what's great? I feel Chinese transliterations are definitely a different feel from Japanese. I feel like Japanese is more, how should I say this? Japanese is more inclined to hold their own preconceived notions of what the language sounds like. So instead of, in my opinion, the English, the katakana that they use to voice transliterations of especially English borrowed words, it's more ethnocentric. Like whenever you hear like coffee, ice cream, cheese, it's more ethnocentric than it is closer to the thing. So like I'm not sure how Japanese people view English speakers when they say sushi, right? And I don't know, takoyaki and stuff like that. But I earnestly think the distance between, like, say, English speakers try to mirror Japanese's words, right? The Japanese words is closer to Japanese, but whenever Japanese is used to use English words, I think it's far more ethnocentric because it's so much further away. But then you have Chinese that's in the mix, and you're wondering, okay, well, it's actually closer. It's a similar distance. So whenever you're like reading this, like right, Ecuador, you're not trying to like change the beat too much and have this thing. So it still sounds like it's Chinese, of course, right? But when you read it, you're like, oh yeah, maybe it's because they're names. We'll see. I mean, 堂课 and Data is pretty good, but then you have like 幽默. It's like, that doesn't sound like humor. We'll see in the future. There's not enough examples. I'm genuinely curious how more frequent stuff like this comes up in like the colloquial English. Although I don't think so. So it could be just frequency. Because whenever I read katakana in Japanese, it is so difficult to know what borrowed word it is, despite it maybe being a very common English word. Like, it comes up all the time. So whenever we do Japanese and we come across a katakana word, you're just like reading it, and I'm like, I read it again and again and again. It's like I have nowhere close to what the English word is. This is still a name though, so we only got name examples, not two. The most recent transliterated word is nilong, which is nylon, nilong. I don't know. It could also be that I have an affinity for Chinese over Japanese. I still think of both languages in terms of English most of the time, though, so... Huh. Oh, what was this? So he's responding to distress, right?
恶
Ugh.
求
Chol? Prisoner. That kind of looks like a prisoner. Like, I mean, literally looks like a prisoner. Kirby is inside the bakery where he's a prisoner. His mouth is taped shut so he cannot inhale anything, and a single person stands guard over him. Baguettes as bars. His charge eating too many pastries, then not being able to pay. In short, he is prisoner because he did not have enough dough. That's kind of cute. That's a dad joke right there. Enough dough. Prisoner. I was gonna go with like he just sucks everything up. He accidentally sucks up a person and held prisoner in his mouth. Okay. I like this one. This is very cute. Okay. Yo. What do we have? Oh, 囚禁. Okay. Prisoner prohibit. In prison. And then interesting. 囚室 as opposed to like I don't know. 囚室 works. I thought they might combine it with jail, like, as well, which was recent. Lao, right? Lao, like Lao 什么 Lao 囚, so it would be jail prisoner. Okay, this one's gonna need a little work.
求
Chill.
耍
Chua. Mess around. Chua. We have a comb and woman. Chua. Sherlock Holmes is in the basement of the auditorium where he is using a comb to fix his hair while thinking about a case he is on. Okay, a woman pops out from behind one of the store stage props and starts messing around, making a ruckus. He pushes one prop over that hits Sherlock in the head, breaking his comb and messing up his hair. Sherlock, angry, yells at the woman to stop messing around. It's not quite Sherlock, so let's go and... So Sherlock snuck down into the basement, right? Went to the basement of the auditorium, looking for clues for his current case, right? While messing around, which is what he typically messing around the area, he stumbles across a woman's comb. I was gonna make it more like the woman barges in and catches him messing around and complains about it. Maybe like when suddenly a woman, potentially the potential suspect, suddenly appears and reprimands him for messing around. Okay, that sounds more like a Sherlock thing. Okay.
耍 网
Wow. Crooked. Crooked figuratively or literally? This is probably going to be used literally. Okay. Walter White is in the basement of the chapel, where that does look like a Hoang. where there is a holy tree growing out of the cement floor. Walter White is okay. I feel like we can use this to pervert the law. Okay, so it's both figurative and literal. So I'm gonna use this figuratively because it's Walter White. Walter White is in the basement of the chapel. Retrieving, let's say, like completing a transaction with some crooked priests. Let's say crooked clergyman. Actually, let's just stick to priest. Priest is our keyword. Priest exchanging his product, depositing his product into wooden scepters, wooden holy scepters for transport and distribution. Okay. All right. Yeah, to pervert the law. Wan fa. In vain. Wang Zhan. Interesting. Crooked. So. Interesting. To treat unjustly. Wow. It's kind of interesting that the three examples are figurative and not the literal use. I really enjoy. I think that's what we're gonna have to try to do for WaniKani. Change some of the words and the things that have more flexibility. I think there are too many rigid words so far, like centaur and raw is way too rigid. I think a concept is necessary. Definitely need to get in some concepts. Mnemonic building is so much more flexible when there's a overarching concept. Let's see. To treat unjustly. I don't think I have yuan. No yuan. Yuan Wang.
Wang.
Okay, Wang. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. This one's probably the weakest.
喜
Nah.
往
Overall, really, yeah, most of it's pretty good. This one's kind of cute. Oh, I missed the U. Oh, this one's probably the weakest.
恶
But I think the mnemonic's pretty solid. The rewrites. Yeah.
耍 求
That one's kind of contrasting. We're not really relying on contrasting or like synergy. Alright, let's get into our reviews. Okay. What the... Oh, really? Oh, oops. Huh.
凤 画
Transform. Oh. Is it?
拉
Of course it's la.
灰
That ain't no drunkard. Is it supposed to be halberd? Okay.
血液
血液是红色的。
I am unsure. That one is a problem.
趋势
我们应该关注市场的趋势。
我们应该关注市场的趋势。This one's like hasten force, I guess. Press or push forward. Trend. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Uh, 厕所。
厕所
厕所在哪里？
无赖
那个无赖欺负了小孩。
微波炉。
微波炉
微波炉可以加热食物。
矿泉水。
矿泉水
你有没有矿泉水？
哎，
温度
温度降到零下20度。
哎，闭嘴。
闭嘴
他叫我闭嘴。
家庭。That doesn't seem right.
家庭
Oh, it is.
我的家庭有6个人。
Just home or family. Yes. Chao. Chao. Chao Bian. That doesn't. Chao Bian. That doesn't seem right.
香 香草
香草是一种常用的调味品。
陈列什么？陈列室。
陈列室
陈列室里摆满了珍贵的文物。
It's an exhibition room. Oh, I forgot the room.湖边。
湖边
他坐在湖边读书。
暗空。Oh no, wait. Oh no. Oh no. Yen? 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 An? Oh no.
沿着
他沿着河边散步。
沿着 Alright, so what happened here? That's T, right? Yeah. Neo. What is what the heck? Oh, that's weird that I'm getting stuck on this. Seems common enough. I don't know. Yeah.
听说
你有听说吗？
Okay. I screwed up on T. I thought it was T. 听说
山谷
这个山谷非常危险。
铁匠
铁匠
铁匠需要很多力气来打铁。
Okay, and then ay, sun? Oh, Qing? I thought it was Qing Kong? I mean, I might have typed something different the first time.
岂能
他是朋友，岂能不帮助？
岂能不帮助 Man. What a friend. Li Ying? What is going on there?
歌预兆
他们认为这是幸运的预兆。
逗号
他的作文里有太多不必要的逗号。
东方
东方
中国位于东方。
仇人
他不愿与仇人见面。
可耻 What the Oh, wrong tone. 晴空
晴空
美丽的晴空。
可取
说谎是一件可耻的事。
糖
Heck, you don't look like what you're supposed to look like. Oh no. Heck.
不一定。
你的看法不一定对。
Oh, it just can't be. Not necessarily. Can't be. Oh, I forgot the room.
衍生
这个问题衍生出很多新的挑战。
So, how did this work? I have no idea. Is this new? Spoon. Oh no, it's not that though. At least I can rule that out. Just the idea of putting these together. I think this is a reinforced, right? Oh no, it's not. It's serpent. We'll skip that. I'm okay with that. I was thinking way down the wrong line there. This is the new one. Oh right.
影
Yeah, this is
蛇
snake. Oh, actually, we might. No, I kind of want to adjust that. I don't like dollhouses.
宠物
他喜欢养宠物。
Uh-oh. Yin. Ooh. Yin Li. Like stern, severe.
严厉
Okay. No? Oh wait. Did I spell that properly? No, yeah, probably. Oh, watchtower? It is a watchtower, right? No. Yes. Oh no.这里 something 有一所大学 No, it's not what I think it is. So Uh, I have no idea about the left character. Huh.
联络
我需要联络王先生。
Our contact. Yeah, fair enough.
顽强
他有顽强的精神。
Huh. I guess stubborn works better than arrogant. Oh,
羽绒服
我冬天穿羽绒服。
gotta reinforce the wrong.
邪恶
这个故事里有邪恶的巫师。
Ah is pretty weak.
答复
我期待你的答复。
白旗
我们看见了一面白旗。
党毒蛇
他被毒蛇咬了。
That would have been helpful.
签
Pun. We practice pun.
盼望
我盼望跟你再见面。
Oops. Hopeful in two separate words.
茶壶
我们家里有一个古老的茶壶。
What? Oh, wrong. Typed the wrong thing there. Okay, that's definitely Lee. And then... Dang, I really thought it was Ying. Or am I messing up the left side? That's definitely Lee. I don't know what's going on. Hang on. We need something 行动 Oh no, wait. Oh no, it's not. That's G. Oh no, wait. Huh. What? Huh. Really?
抗议，
他们抗议政府的决定。
I'm thinking it's something like that's supposed to be Empress. That might be actually Empress. Oh no. Yeah, this one's a foot only. Only, so that's possess, merely. What is merely? Yeah, I have no idea. Being actually, I have no recollection of Jing whatsoever. Barely. That is a lookout tower. Oh, he was going in. You sneak in and grab. Nearly guard. We're gonna have to change that. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good. There's no inclination that it has anything to do with any of the characters. Okay. Wait, did I just see the flip of this? Or oh no, summon is the flip. This is oh no, it's not. Huh. Oh my gosh.
香肠，
香肠是我最喜欢的早餐食品。
Okay. Hoang is weak still, despite practicing it.
仅有，
这里仅有一所大学。
踢，枪，龙舟，
龙舟比赛吸引了许多观众。
Oh, I practiced this too. Disappointing. It's not that. Or is it? No. What do you have? Like Jing Jingji something 点很快什么？很快 something 会曲线快亮 没有。然后快进，然后快就会出现。嗯。That has moon in it. Oh, no. It's not that. No, let's skip this for now. E
1.1D
学习要一点一滴的做。
Oh, true is.
除
Ugh. Okay.
河川
很多动物依赖河川生活。
烫
Hmm.
怀抱
他在爷爷的怀抱中睡着了。
坦
Wait. The heck? Oh, I think it's
立即
yeah.
我们需要立即行动。
Okay, that solved itself.
了凉爽
今天的天气很凉爽。
This one does not. Man. Lord. I don't know where the mouth is. I really dislike mouth so much. But it has double body parts. We practiced it. Kind of stinks. Double body parts. Next to Dian. Nah, there's no chance. I don't want to belabor this anymore. Oh, heckin', it's heckin' Guai. Earn. Ugh. That's like the 4th time that's come up. I'm gonna have to change it even more. Because Goofy is not related to any of those things. It can be anyone. How do we make it even more absurd? Or specific?
之
How's this not what I think it is? Oh, it's not. Alright. That needs to be retroactively done.
拐点
经济拐点很快就会出现。
That's annoying. That's really annoying.
我们
我们
多
Really triggered. No.
和谐
我们的关系很和谐。
地
No.
母亲
Oops.
你母亲每天几
Mother.
点下班？
刚
Yeah. Okay. Or prideful or tenacious. We're gonna do arrogant. Go on the same category. Oh, wait. Wrong tone there. Excuse me? What? What the? Brain went somewhere else on that one. The heck?
品牌
这是一个知名的品牌。
细雨
外面正在下雨。
湖水
湖水如镜。
但是
这个城市不大，但是很漂亮。
No. Nope. Oh. What?
“初步”
这只是初步的想法。
初步 Initial? Oh dang. 初步 That was a bit of a reach. Darn you. Dollhouse all the time, man. Oh no. 元大.
肥胖，
如果你吃太多，你会变得肥胖。
倒，
I can only see fears. It's gone. Yeah, it's gone. Oh man. Hang on. Oh, I think I. Ah, dang it. I think G is more right than T. Think. Hmm. Hmm.
路段，
请在这个路段慢慢开车。
举重，
我要去健身房举重。
举重。我们去健身举重 with weights. Oops. Life weights. Whoa! Oh, wait. My gut feeling failed so hard there. That's not right. Or is it? What? No. What? I'm getting a lot of things mixed up right now. Oh, I think I was okay with it, right? Yeah. What? Oh. I know what it is. Um... 我不喜欢那种 something 的人。It's 类型类型 Darn you! Wait. This is 宏大。
宏大，
这座建筑显得非常宏大。
What incarnation? Oh no. Oh no. I'm gonna say Yo T. Okay. Wait. I feel like that's definitely Yo.
尤其，
他喜欢看书，尤其是小说。
Especially. We covered this too. This was a problem. 劝说
劝说，
他劝说我参加他的公司。
It's kind of like advise, but we're just gonna go with advise. Persuade. Okay. What happened here? Moon and headstone. It's not that. It's not. Huh.
停顿，
演讲中有个停顿，
Maybe it's the left one. Bring up thorn and sword. Oh. 刺激。
刺激，
这个消息刺激了他的情绪。
党员，
他是一个忠实的党员。
Oh, yeah. What the? Something makes me want to just type goo. Oh boy. Moon and headstone.
“城镇”，
这个城镇很安静。
铜矿，
这里有一个大铜矿。
类型，
我不喜欢那种类型的人。
Okay. Trying to separate Lia from Lei. Common thing.
修剪，
我们需要修剪梅树。
What?
症状，
我有流感的症状。
症状。我有流感的症状。
乙，
Oh, that's Aunt. What am I talking about? How's Hanzo going to start bouncing back and forth between your stream and the guy you mod for? He's finishing up a game and needs a lot of help with it. I see. What kind of game is he playing? It's going alright. Pretty average still. Oh, he's still playing Blueprints, I see. Does he need help or is he just playing? I'm not sure how someone playing a game needs help. Is he just playing the game? Moon and Moonstone. Moon and Tombstone. Oh, more like he wants to be told the answer? Oh, okay. Kind of interesting. Did I not type who? I swear I typed who. Alright, well that didn't change anything for me. Or did I type Hui? I might have typed Hui though. So that's the maternal aunt. Paternal aunt. We're gonna have to sit down and look at all the relations.
"破烂，
这本书太破烂了，需要换一本新的。
Yeah, it's kind of difficult for me to think of someone who plays a puzzle game wanting to be told the answer. But I guess I don't know this person well enough. Not that. Oh no. Yikes. I think I should come up with something for the right. This combination. This combination comes up quite a bit. What, the crown? He's annoyed with the game, but I think he wants to finish it just for completion's sake. Sounds like a internal problem. It's there's no. Saul is something else. Fingers? Lost me at crown. Definitely lost me at crown.
叹气，
他总是在压力下叹气。
Really? Oh, oh, that's 时候. What am I doing? 时候. I'm telling you, every time I see a dollhouse, I want to flip a table. uh.
耳膜，
他的耳膜受伤了。
Earbrum. Yep, and that's exactly it. Oh no, that's Hoang. Ay ay ay.
时候，
我去年这时候在台湾。
Excuse me.
奶，
他的他的什么？他的 something when 那边 完成了。
完成，
他的论文完成了。
That was 论文, right? Thesis or something like that? Or degree? I swear the dollhouses. Constant bombardment of dollhouses. Oh. This one's pretty bad too.
意，
That's so loose. So loose.
道歉，
我不知道怎么道歉。
补偿，
公司会补偿你的损失。
It's compensate or repay. And what happened here? Am I a pep? I feel like I'm a pep right here. YOLO?
丁，
Okay.
路，
What the? Alright, I'll reevaluate that when I come back.
掏枪，
不要轻易掏枪。
Alright, back here again. Do I have any more bright ideas? I think it's the Slender Man that throws me off. The Slender Man, the crown, and there's no dice on this. Of course it deals with Kirby. Oh, this is the... Oh my gosh. I got this mixed up with something else earlier. Invade. What did I get this mixed up with earlier? Oh, the Slender Man and the... What was it? It was this. No. Yes. No, it wasn't actually. It was probably this. No. Something's missing here. Ding. No, this is Guai. Oh yeah, it was Han. But no, that's not the one. It was... Watchtower and Slenderman? What was the Watchtower and Slenderman? Oh, Jing. It was Jing. So Jing and this one was getting mixed up. I wonder how I... like this. Yeah, the right hand is good though. Does work. I don't know how I'm gonna change this. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to change. Maybe we make it... I don't know, but you have to... Okay. I think I know how. Because Kirby has to emphasize companionship. Oh no, but... I did do some stuff that are opposites. Trying to keep these... I'm trying to go back and keep these consistent.
疯狂，
他的行为很疯狂。
It's crazy or go crazy. Okay. Went over this yesterday. Right. Alright. Takes a while for this
Lai.
one.
窝 图
Oh. Why did I type concave? Wait.
多亏
多亏你提醒我带伞。
多亏 is to find. Many find. Please. Don't find. What in the... That sentence doesn't make sense.
每个人都有自己独特的梦境。
That sentence threw me off. Hmm.
文字
这里有很多文字。
Hmm. Man. I am...
思绪
Okay.
彩虹
彩虹有7种颜色。
木匠
这个木匠做了一张桌子。
Okay. Gotta picture it. Ah! I typed the wrong tone. Dang it. Despite knowing what it is. Bulquay, many finds? Or many losses? 你提醒我带伞。What? Yeah, it said it's thanks, but many loss. So I get that this is thanks from the sentence, but what is it trying to say? Huh, that's interesting. It's like the opposite of what it sounds like alone. The sentence means thanks, but what I'm getting from the character is the opposite. That's interesting. I'm
心
not gonna go over that. The sentence is stronger than the characters themselves. And then what happened here? What is going on here? A pillory and the center. I thought it was young, or actually young is probably just a pillory. not Dian. Not Dian. I'm drawing a blank on this one. I don't understand how the pillory has anything to do with the sun. Oh, this one's really disappointing. Oh, it's reflect. Dang it. Wait. What is it? What word am I thinking of? Oh no, it's not. I just happened to forgot what the tone was. I thought it was ying. It could only be ying or ying. It couldn't have been ying. Reflect. That kind of sucks. This one kind of sucks too. It's a pillory in the middle of a bathroom of an English manor. Dealing with Yoshi. Which has nothing, so we're probably gonna rewrite. Would it matter in the vocabulary? No. Probably pretty obvious in the vocabulary. As a standalone character, it doesn't say much at the moment. What did I do there?
汗津津，
他跑完步，全身汗津津的。
Yeah, the characters here honestly has it gives you the opposite feeling, but when you read the sentence, it tells you what the meaning is. Such an odd feeling. What? Wait, containers and elbows. Oh. What? Oh, I typed Q. Q and G gets mixed up a lot.
信徒，
他是一个佛教的信徒。
训斥，
他受到爸爸的训斥。
豆芽，
豆芽是一种常见的蔬菜。
What?
.档案，
这是一个机密档案。
机密档案 or file, I guess.
雅，
Heck, I went for it and I failed.
风，正，邻邦，
这个邻邦经常帮助我们。
扯
Yep. Somehow I just want to hit tangled, which I don't think that's the thing.
仓库
这是我们的仓库。
仓库。
挥霍
他喜欢挥霍金钱。
装
Oh, pull out. Or pull. Just pull. Pull is fine. Thinking too much.
桑叶
我喜欢采桑叶。
踩踏
他不小心踩踏了花朵。
煤
Small object. Oops.
报仇
他发誓要为家人报仇。
硬妥腐朽
木屋的柱子腐朽了。
干巡警
这个城市有很多巡警。
畏缩
小狗被大声音吓得畏缩了。
匪沟稳动寻突泪汪汪
听到这个感人的故事，大家都泪汪汪。
Alright. Slightly above average. Over this stuff. Is it past 9? It is past 9. Do our lesson day for WaniKani in a bit here. Alright. Yeah. Oops. 球。哇。电。唰。气。旱灾。情侣。情侣。哦，情侣。雇员。雇主。干旱。祈福。匆匆而出。匆匆而出。又什么？幼稚园。讲手。讲手。讲手。讲手。讲手。讲手。讲段。发芽。桑树。根座。Alright, let's see. Yoshi in front of the auditorium, lined up for some day at the theater, but then suddenly a girl with horns started chasing him with a rod. Kind of sounds like Charlie Brown, actually. But a girl with horns, the horn part kind of makes up for it being more like Yoshi. Although it could be Kirby too. We'll have to come back to that. Alright, so Kirby is in the bakery. Fortunately, he is now he has his mouth taped up and is now a prisoner for being a person charged with not paying their bills because he ate everything. Alright, then we have Walter White, who's in the basement of the chapel, making a transaction with some crooked priests to transport and distribute products using wooden holy scepters. We got Diddy Kong, who is in the bathroom of the pawn shop with a stolen container of goods from the neighboring rice field and pasture, in order of cleaning it up a little bit to sell. Sherlock, who has snuck into the basement of the auditorium looking for clues, right? Messing around looking for clues. He eventually stumbles upon a woman's home. Now we have Kirby, who's in the basement of his house chilling, when suddenly a person with a handgun shows up begging for some food. Kirby responds by offering his seconds. Now they are friends. Okay. We got Master Chief. Master Chief rushing to the bathroom of the electricity plant with a lot of people in distress because somehow a paperclip hit a generator and caused the bathroom to collapse off a cliff. Alright, so we got 5 things. Let's see. We have Sha, which is disappointing for Snake. I'll have to look at that. This one needs looking at. Actually, I think most of these need looking at. Jing. Merely. Yeah, Jing was rough. I kept even questioning if it was a watchtower. Merely. Why again? Turn. I don't think any of these actually have problems in a vocabulary word. That doesn't make standalone character any more memorable. Ting is a really big disappointment. Fade. And Ying didn't realize how not helpful the mnemonic is until I had forgotten it, which is kind of the whole point. Alright, so all of them require some refinement. Let's go hop into them. So let's start with Sha first. We're getting rid of a dollhouse. I really like the dollhouse needs something else. It needs an alt. we're gonna use enclosure. And enclosure, every time enclosure comes up, it's not that big a deal either. So they're both going to be enclosures. Or like a box. Something like a box. Let's say Shrek is inside the electricity plant. Tackling a insect problem. So he brought out a container, like either gonna be some sort of container or enclosure. So like a house is pretty alright actually. Like a home. We're gonna say like a carrying. In this case, it's just gonna be a container for now. Some sort of container. Container with a snake. And unleash it. Unleash it on the insects. Oh, the spoon thing throws me off so. Container with a snake and some S bait on a spoon, and release the snake onto the insects. And it sort of worked. It sort of worked. He struggled to recapture the snake and place it back in the container. We're just gonna say the snake's house. Make it kind of still like a dollhouse thing. Alright, our next one was what? Oops. Merely. So Jimmy Neutron, Jimmy is breaking into the basement of the infirmary to grab some medical supplies for an experiment. Actually, this doesn't change anything. Oh, lookout tower. I think this is fine. Well, I think that one's fine. I keep typing the same thing, so at the moment, I don't see a way to deviate away from it. The word merely is a problem because it's not a... It can characterize pretty much anything, merely. It's merely this, merely that. Maybe like, I'm gonna make a note, so Minutron broke into the basement of the infirmary, grabbed some medical supplies for his experiment. It was merely was merely a challenge, since there was merely one slender man guarding, which can be easily guarding on a lookout tower, who can be easily merely distracted distracted by one of Jimmy's clever invention. Okay. All right. Why I tried multiple times to add something. Whoops. Oh my gosh, Guai is also picking Kane. That's gonna be a problem. Okay, so it's the high school and Goofy that's the problem. So Goofy in the basement looking at the janitor, he tries turning the combination lock. Yeah. His fingers. And then try to pull it apart with his fingers. This one's fine. And then biting it with his mouth. It's a very Goofy thing to do. Eventually finds a sword lying around. Blade. There is blade too, but I'm just gonna combine blade. And pry it open. Or maybe he's just there's really not that much left. Do I have turn in Japanese? Not this way. That one's gonna be rough. Ching. Different. We're gonna take a different approach. Kirby is in the front and infirmary, sitting on a folding stool on guard duty. Wearing a crown, headgear, and wielding a fork. A large fork. To keep a lookout. He is accompanied by a slender man wearing a crown, wearing similar gear. Right. To kind of change it up. The relationship between Slender Man and Kirby was kind of tenuous. And then reflection. Okay, this one's back quite a bit. So Yoshi is in the bathroom of the English Manor. Who got stuck, got locked into a pillory when he was goofing around and got startled by the sun reflecting off some, I don't know, expensive antiques and breaking them in the process. Okay. All right. Good enough. Good enough. All right. Wrap for HanziHero today. If you're gonna watch this later, yes, yeah. As always, feel free to follow along, pick up HanziHero for yourself, give it a try, let me know what you think. You're always welcome to join in some yap, exchange some ideas, share some stories, keep each other motivated. So until next time, 大家下次见. And 感谢观看, right? Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get up, walk around, stretch a little bit, and I'll be back for HanziHero. For WaniKani, actually. Thank you, thank you. Alright, welcome back everyone. 皆さん、お帰りなさい。今日は304日目です。It is day 304. Today is our second half of level 29. We did WaniKani second today because my lessons are at 9 p.m., which is about 36 minutes ago. Today is also Wednesday, so we actually have 7 new lessons that was either added or moved because Wednesday is update week. I hope this is like the new thing that they're doing. Every Wednesday seems like a pleasant surprise. I quite like it. We're gonna go over the 84, which is our entire stack of the ones that are gonna be gurued. Technically, we gurued 2 or 4 things because of like a really long extended digression area. Let's get right into it. Should be quick on the current stuff, at least I think.
好奇心
Koichi.
逆
Yaku.
つく
つく。腹立つ。腹立つ。ね。Alright.
睡眠薬
睡眠薬。Okay.
土器
土器。Yup. Mm-hmm. What? Oh, no, wait. Just kidding.
訪
訪
れる
れる。訪れる。腹が減った。Okay. 痛みを痛み止め。痛み止め。Okay. Blame. 道に迷う。迷う。
道に迷う
迷う。道に迷う。揃う。揃う。Okay. 織
織物
物。逆説。
再建
再建。再建。
誘う
誘う。逆効果。
逆効果
逆効果。 Yakuko ka. Oh wait. I forgot. I need to put an opposite. Ikari. Harakiri. Harakiri. And banquet.
巨
巨
大
大巨大
巨
巨
人
人巨人巨人主催
主催
主催oh no, hold up.
Sakarau.
Sakarau is to oppose. Ryaku abbreviation. Inemuri. Inemuri. Wow. Nemuri kusuri. Nemuri gusuri.
眠り薬
No for smart detention. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Oh. First time seeing? Hello. That's kind of weird that that gets flagged. Taisho? Taisho this? I wonder if that's equivalent to... Oh, that's kind of cute. Actually, sorry, I was thinking of some English meme. Hello, konnichiwa. You're gonna have to help me out with your name. Yes. Suisel? Suisel? Swale? Suele? Suekel. Okay. Goofy. Oh, Swakel. Okay. Fair enough. Wakarimashita. Let's see. Sleeping potion. By the way, how's studying? Studying is pretty alright. Do you study Japanese as well? If so, how's that treating you?
眠る
Excuse me. Oh, whoops.
不健康
Genko. Yeah, you're studying to. Okay. Yeah, the same. That's kind of a fun way to say same. uh. Hmm. In. Huh. The in cut. Oh, wait. This is
Shimekiri.
Shimekiri. And those kanji gives you headaches? How are you boosting your what are you doing? How do you go about your Japanese studying? Shimekiri. That's a funky drop for Shimekiri. Bakchi.
Bakchi.
Bakchi. Korea. 効力.
効力
Koryok. Or just effect. How do we beckon? Maneki neko.
Maneki neko.
Maneki neko. Meiwaku meru.
Meiwaku meiru.
Meiwaku meru. And onaka.
Onaka.
You change strategies if you get tired from one. That's understandable. That's a very common pattern. A few months ago, you played this game called Repo. I'm familiar with it. Then you joined small Japanese streamers to practice your Japanese and learn new words. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So are you currently doing that right now? You said a few months ago. So have you started changing strategies again? And how do you keep track of all your strategies? Do you have some sort of journal or some sort of overall upkeep? Or are you vibing? Are you constantly vibing from strategy to strategy?
Kirei.
Let's see. 博物館. Right.
博物館.
Noboru.
登る.
激動.
激怒。
激動. 激動. Nen shutsu.
捻出.
Nen shutsu. Oh, is this like to round up? How many strategies have you done? for Japanese learning? Can you tell me some about more than the more recent one? And have any learning lessons from all the different strategies? Saikoku.
Nenza.
Ninja. Kiwamete. 極めて怒らせる怒らせる怒らせるは or no to anger someone. You don't have any structure when tracking your strategies, you just go what you feel is right. Sounds like the vibe strategy. The current struggle is that many of the Japanese you know only comes out of your mind when typing, but not with speaking verbally. So you figure you must change your environment. Repo is limited to some words and scenarios, so you cannot really improve some of your weak points in casual speech. That's interesting. I think casual speech is going to feel like it's going to be a small pool to begin with because it is casual speech, but that's interesting that you can type certain things and not speak certain things. And do you speak differently at all when you're typing and you're speaking? Do you imagine different things, go through different processes? How do they contrast? So now you're gonna try to engage in Japanese with streamers. Is that fairly common? Like, are you able to find plenty of people to join? I just realized how much you look like one. Huh. Interesting. So then I imagine, you know, is your Japanese beyond when you're typing and reading, are you doing anything beyond casual speech? Yeah, you look for streams on Twitch and ask if you can join. Some of their titles is labeled as, oh, okay. Yeah, you can participate. Yeah. That's kind of funny. That's also entirely in Chinese too. 参加型. Interesting. Yeah, participation. 参加せ. Probably. I usually read in my head now, so most of the time the three things are separate. So there's times that I can read the thing, know what it means, but I can know what it means, and vice versa. So if someone says something to me, I can respond in English, and then it'll take me a while to respond in Japanese. But if I read Japanese, I can immediately know the meaning without knowing how to read the thing, vice versa. We kind of just do all of the things in separate and entering in different positions. Also, since I also practice Chinese and read Chinese, Chinese and Japanese overlap quite a lot with like titles and all that. So those three characters happen to line up really well with Chinese. Yeah. Chanjia is sanka. Sanka. Let's see. Is this also what you notice during your repo days? You can understand what people are saying to you, but you can't reply. It is kind of frustrating. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. The thing about replying is that it, in Japanese, in my opinion, is it often deals with something that's not attached to, it doesn't necessarily have to attach to the thing that they're saying. However, and in Japanese, when you're talking about casual speech, it often, you're not reflexive. So you don't repeat the things that they're asking in, or what they're saying. It would be sounding like something like, hey, there's a tree. Yes, there is a tree. Situation, right? And then it would be kind of weird when you say that in casual speech. So you would say, yes, it is. And then sometimes it's like, what is it is? You didn't hear it very often, right? So the thing you're hearing from the speaker or the person you're interacting with is exposing you to a lot of Japanese. So you're acquiring a lot of words, but their response is they're not responding to you. So you're not hearing the responses more often because you're not leading the conversation. So it's kind of like a bit asymmetrical. And that's where I feel, if I had to pinpoint where the frustration is that if you're doing a lot of listening most of the time, then all those things will be very familiar. But when you respond, it's not the things you're listening. You're listening something and you're responding with something different. Until you start asking the questions and like making observations and you hear them respond to you, then you'll over time hear what they typically respond. So when I vibe to vlogs and stuff, instead of listening for the content, you know, like whatever they're responding to, I'm listening for their response. So I typically ignore a lot of things that what they're reacting to, but how they're reacting, and then that makes up for the lack of response. In Chinese, it's a slightly different actually. Chinese like repeating things. So outside of your yes and no, like you kind of repeat a lot of things. So when someone says like, oh, how are you doing, I'm doing well. So the only one change is well. That's a very you never thought of it that way. Maybe you could formulate a new strategy based on your explanation. Yeah, like I over time, like, thanks Brie. Over time, I think finding all your catchphrases and whatnot, I think casual speech is very interesting because not everyone starts with casual speech. A large majority of people start with formal stuff, and then because they're so used to the formal stuff, you're learning all the important details, the things that he's talking about the tree and he's describing the person and stuff, but your response is like, oh man, I got it, yes, I hear you, you know, wakarimashita, that kind of thing, like, oh, mite, right, like look, that situation. Those things only happen if you're saying something. So when you're saying something, then the Japanese person is responding, and then if you hear that more often, then those are your responses that you're getting. And it doesn't happen very often when you're learning, because you don't say enough. You want someone else to say the things. And I think watching conversations happen, like only hearing or focusing on just what the Japanese person is responding to. So like if a chat person asks a question and then hearing that person's response, those are the things that you can say like, oh, I kind of like the way this person answered this troll's question, right? Like saying like, whoa, repo sucks. And then you hear the Japanese person respond. It's like, those are the stuff that you're hearing now, instead of worrying about what they're responding to, because you can say, oh yeah, that sounds like a mean thing. So how does a Japanese person respond? Like, oh, that's a cool thing. How does the Japanese person respond? And I think that's the stuff that kind of, it's a rare opportunity. And the way, if I have an opportunity to speak to someone, I would ask them like, what do you think about this? And then you show them a picture. Or what do you think about this? And show them a picture. Or like in a game, what do you think if I do this? So you can get like really stock questions. So I focused early on how to ask questions, and then the questions stay the same, right? Like, これは何ですか? 何これ? Like that type of thing. You're basically, you're pointing like, what is that? Like, what is this? How do you say that? Like, what I'm doing, can you tell me if I'm doing it right? That type of thing. So when it comes to like extracting responses, most of the time, if you have your questions down, all your common questions, you can learn like only a few questions, maybe 10 or so questions, and then it can be used for pretty much any example. Nani kore is great. It's like, what's that? Right? And then you just point to it. Or mite. Mite kudasai, right? Like, look, please. Like, mite, right? Like a few commands that would say over here, right? That kind of thing. At least that will get you a long mileage, and you wouldn't have to learn how like to respond dynamically. You would have stock questions that you can always use, and then get the Japanese person to respond to you. So then you'll hear it over and over again, and that you can vibe pretty hard. Like every time you point to this thing, it's like, I forgot, shiranai, you know, like I forgot this word. What is it? You know, 何ですか? 言葉は何ですか? これは言葉は何ですか? Right? Or something like that, where like, this, what is the word for this? And you probably start then picking up more of how they respond to things. At least that's my quote-unquote hot take. And Chinese, is Chinese harder? It's as hard as you make it. I'm gonna give you a cop-out, kind of a cop-out answer to everything. Most of the time, the hardness is really relative to how enthusiastic you are. Chinese is a great companion for Japanese. So, like, for example, this character right here. This character is fear, right? But it's also Kong, which also means fear. So if you know Kong, you can use either a Japanese or Chinese leaping point for the two. So for you, if I had to say, if you're already interested in reading Japanese and whatnot, it's probably going to be less hard for you than anyone else. My parents are Chinese, and I am illiterate until like 2 years ago in Chinese, but learning Japanese and Chinese side by side has a, if you think this can confuse you, then it's probably gonna get harder. If you think this is useful, then it's probably gonna get easier. So I like the idea that if I don't know what this character is, I still know what the Chinese meaning of it is, and I can connect those two. So, and you can do it pretty rapidly over time. And maybe here's another thing. Chinese is probably quote-unquote easier per se, largely because grammar is attached to the characters a lot of times. They're not outside of the characters. and they are also they use English grammar most of the time. The English, the non-English part, like the part that may misconstrued English, it's attached to the characters. So when you see a character repeat in a position a lot of times, and that would be a non-English thing. And then the rest structure kind of flows fairly well with English. Am I a teacher? You like how I describe things? I used to teach things. Yes, I wanted to professionally teach things before. It was in science though. I'm not in language teaching. I have a PhD in molecular biology. It's been 7 years since I've stepped into a lab. However, one of the most rewarding aspects of being at a university was to teach. And when you're doing research, you kind of do that still, where when you're explaining things, you have to explain it like your research to, you know, when you think of a TED Talk, or like when you're on a YouTube video and you watch like SciShow summarize things to a different audience. That's typically what I did as a professional. So explaining these things and using like diagrams and arrows, that's part of the education. Yeah. And I love hearing how other people are going about language learning, because I didn't grow up as a language learner. I am sort of multilingual already though. However, the languages I speak, the one that I speak most is a mother tongue that is not taught, so it's largely spoken. And my ear training deals with Spanish, Japanese, and Chinese. Mandarin, specifically Mandarin Cantonese, and Fujianese, which is what I speak with my parents. Yeah. I am a little bit, because of that, I'm a little bit different on how I imagine language, because my languages is that they're not separate things, they're the same things. So a lot of times that might come off as a little difficult to describe, and I try to work on it. Like, I don't see Japanese as its own thing. I see Japanese as its connection with English, Chinese, Spanish, and Fujianese, the languages I talk about. So a lot of times you would hear something like, oh, whenever you switch over to Japanese mode or switch over to Chinese mode, you have a code swap. You know, you like switch personalities, or I typically don't. So, for example, WaniKani gong hujiwa ngoiri knowing no mo being ya jung gongwaga using English while speaking, my personality doesn't really shift between languages. It usually just stays consistent. So that might be something that is kind of different from the way other people, you hear a lot about like Spanglish, like multilingual people who grow up around multilingual environments. They tend to weave in and out of languages out of convenience without a substantial shift in their compartmentalization. So typically, whenever I think about how people interact with languages, I try to think about what they're interacting with on a daily basis. And that's the reason why I think the hearing responses over and over again is the thing that you're probably looking to practice, because that's the thing that's missing sort of from the environment you have. Yeah, vibing is an interesting way, like fully immersion vibing strategies for language acquisition. The nice thing about that is pure exposure and dynamics is sufficient to gain a conversational level of language. The downside, like the con, sort of, the thing that you have to work on is trying to find a clever way to trigger the information to happen more consistently. Because when you're vibing and you're immersing, you don't necessarily have control over the thing you want to hear, or the thing that you may want to hear consistently. So it requires you to be proactive. While a lot of people who pick up a second language, they use passive things that they have control over. So like flashcards, textbooks, speaking to a teacher, that kind of thing. Those are passive things because the person and the resource is there for you to determine what to learn. Your way is definitely more of what I would say closer to how I learned language when I was growing up. Fujianese is not taught, so the only way I can ever learn it is from my parents. So speaking to my parents and other people are the only source. The only source of acquiring the language. You wish you have those skills you have for how you speak. You're really not good at talking to people, regardless of the language. Having social anxiety kind of drags you down on your language learning. All you can ever do at the moment is to listen and observe. Absolutely. I talk about this, in the last, I started formally like sharing this stuff 2 years ago and picking up language learning. The first thing I highlight is what you're speaking of. It is great that you understand that, though. I think a lot of people don't understand that until much, much later into their language learning. That one of the social anxiety, the thing that they're putting off, is kind of going to be a really big hindrance. So the communication skills. I don't have like a TLDR on how one can overcome social anxiety and developing communication skills. Ultimately though, one thing I typically say is that finding someone, something, some medium that you find, even talking out loud, like streaming or something like that, with that practice, that can alleviate a lot of potential social anxiety moving forward. So what I typically do when I'm studying, by the way, before you mention anything, you're not distracting me from my studying. I actually do this deliberately to talk to people about how they're going about their language learning, because my main focus is learning and communication skills. So this would be a great example where the way you're talking to me now, like you're typing this out, you wish you have those skills that I have. You're not really good at talking to people regardless of the language. Being able to explain that aspect to me, so I'm probably going to ask you some questions now. Like, what is it part of the talking to people in your native language, say your English? I imagine English is one of your primary common languages. If you're able to explain to someone else who's interested, like you have someone around you, right? If you have someone around you who like to share in the anxiety or share in maybe a good friend or someone, and they are able to ask questions about you, and then you're able to exchange questions about them, encouraging yourself to want to explain things to someone you care about, or express it in some way, like maybe writing a book or like writing in a journal or something. If you can articulate that in your mind and then you can vocalize it to anyone or to a mirror or to a recording device, eventually I think that's a great bridge to overcoming social anxiety. Because one of the things is, if I asked you, how was your day? And you've already written in a book and you've already recorded it somewhere, you repeat that. So you're not necessarily coming up with the stuff on the spot. And practice like that gives a great vibing way. So I know you've expressed that you're more of a viber, right? I'm more of a viber. So doing stuff is the way, right? We want to focus on doing stuff. And one of the things that I typically suggest, if you have something, say you have an interest, and your interest is repo right now, right? So when you are done with your repo session, let's say you took a session, then you can write your thoughts. And you've already said you have a strength in writing instead. You can choose to write in Japanese if you want. Write in English plus Japanese. So you can write whatever your thoughts are using the Japanese you already know, and then substituting English. Sorry, that's not how you spell abbreviate English. English whenever it's necessary. So you could have something like the word is, I don't know, kirei, right? Right. The word is kirei in your journal or something. The idea is now you're able to have a thought that you're practicing. So you're outputting the practice. And in the future, when someone asks you, hey, what new word you learned? Oh, the word is kirei. So you don't know, let's say you don't know kotoba and then wa, right? Kotoba wa kirei. Kirei desu, if you're doing formal stuff. The idea is you know now which words you have and which words you don't have. And you can practice that without anyone, right? You don't need anyone to be there. And in the future, you immediately from that practice, you can say something and you wouldn't have to feel anxious, or it would still be anxious and inducing, but it would be lessened because you have a bunch of thoughts that you already have done and be prepared for. The conversation that we're having now, when I'm like, oh, you said I can read your mind like an open book, that is something that I'm reading from my old self. My younger self, all of this is still true when I was younger. I'm 38, by the way. So when I'm saying I'm younger, I'm talking about something that happened 20 years plus ago. You can learn and know a lot of things. However, putting things in your own word, in your own words, without anyone around, is one of the great, like a very consistent bridge to saying, okay, now someone's in front of you, but you've already put so many things in your own word, and you can use your Japanese. You can encourage yourself to integrate your Japanese and your English. So if you can find some way of making your interest, your current vibe, and integrate a habit, maybe at night after the day's over, you can, I don't know, draw a picture if you want to draw a picture, or write some notes about your day, and the day explains things in your own words. So you're not copying and pasting. You're more like, all right, so what did I like about today's session about repo? Write it in English and Japanese, as much Japanese as you can, and English. And eventually you'll realize, in my opinion, you'll intuit, you'll vibe what words you're looking for. So eventually you hear an English word that comes up a lot next to a Japanese word. And what happens is, okay, I really need to find out what these Japanese words for these are, because it's next to this Japanese word all the time. So then when you're speaking, hopefully your social anxiety is not spending more time trying to come up with the words, because you've already done it. And now you're using your Japanese and Chinese and Japanese and English, listening and looking for those phrases. So for me right now, I'll give you an example. The thing I'm talking to you about, I spent more than 7 years working on. The idea of social anxiety that's linked to communication skills, that deals with the current state of the internet hustle culture, and how talking and communication is at someone and not with someone. And then people don't actively listen and extract information while responding in real time. So like dynamic communication, right? Dynamic communication. Most of the time communication is pre-practiced. or reactionary. You're reacting to most things. And this stuff is nerve-wracking because when you're reacting to something, it's an emotional response most of the time. Pre-practice is a thing that I feel that you and a lot of younger people, I'm assuming you're on the younger side, can practice those and use it as a way to leap into dynamic communication. So you can create ideas on the fly. Like right now, if you tell me something about yourself, I would be able to explain the things that I practiced that is true about a lot of things, but maybe not true about you. However, I only need to adjust that little detail while I'm saying it. So pre-practicing can help you with not necessarily completely reliant on reacting. It can help you feel comfortable. Like when you say hello, that's something that you practiced a lot. So when you say hello, it feels like there's no anxiety behind it. And then afterwards, when someone asks you a question, like, how's your day? You can be prepared to say, how's your day? If you already thought about it in your journal. Or I could ask you, what have you been up to recently? What have you done yesterday, right? We haven't talked yesterday. And in some way, if you had some way of writing down something, it's even the smallest amount of habit or practice will make it sound like, oh, I already know this. I practice this. It's in the back of my head. Like, I think about what I did yesterday at the end of the day every night. So if someone asks me what happened yesterday, what happened 2 days ago, tell me something interesting that happened to you last week. You have something already that you've already expressed. So oftentimes, if you want a vibe answer from, at least from my perspective on like social anxiety, a journal is fantastic. Or maybe a list of music you listen to. So your YouTube algorithm, your smartphone, your watch list, your anime list, etc. has trackers. So you can write about those things, or you can think about those things. So when someone asks you, how's your day? You can think of your Netflix list or your anime list. And then you can go even further and say, okay, I liked that anime. So let's talk about that anime instead. And those are the things, in my opinion, that I spend most of my time encouraging people with social anxiety to try to do. You can pre-practice a lot of things, and hopefully that leads to vibing your other information. It's a great way to start a conversation, spin the conversation, so that you can get more accompanied, you can get more familiar with your social anxiety limits. Anxiousness does come from being unprepared, right? Oftentimes the source of anxiousness is constantly feeling like you're unprepared. What happens if the conversation goes silent? What happens if I don't have the words for it? Well, you have some words for it. Trying to find a way to practice them is a great starting point. Your speaking for French is so much worse than your reading writing because you really don't talk to people and you're often too nervous to put yourself out there for study buddies. Yeah, I think, hear me out, Brie. Like, if you don't really like to talk to people, explain that in French. And then, in my opinion, the next time you talk to someone, you can explain it in French. It would still be less nervous than not being able to explain it. That's kind of the central part of starting. How do you start? Because if you really want to get there someday, you gotta start with the things you know. So you probably already know why you really don't talk to people. So the next step is you can say it in English. You can also say it in French. And then If you run out of ideas and say you're stuck at don't talk to people, then you can use English to explore why you don't really like to talk to people. Then you can explain it in French. So the next time you meet someone who speaks French, you can explain the things you already know as a way to discover new things in the target language. And that's, at least in my opinion, that's the closest thing to learning like a kid before, immersion. That's the closest thing that people talk about when they talk about immersion. But now you're actively learning. You are choosing your words to lead a discussion to gain more information. So when you finally found an ability to feel like you can lead a discussion because you've already practiced it a bunch of times, that nervousness is at least dampened. I'm not going to say it ever goes away. I don't think social anxiety and nervousness ever goes away. The idea is you can actually prepare and prep questions. The first thing I did for did I ever tell you this? Did I ever tell you this? I'm not sure if you were here, but I've told someone this. When I was younger than 18, I got A+, for my speeches because I memorized my speech. I literally wrote every single word, gesture, and action, and I practiced it until I got it. So I even had timing. I wrote a script for myself when I was younger. That's where I started. I wrote a script, and so you don't have to go this hardcore, obviously. And not everyone has this time. And if you're older and you have a lot of responsibilities, there's a lot of already emotional baggage, right? Like you have emotional things you have to tether. When I was younger, I was emotionally stunted. Like I was stunted emotionally. So I didn't have that problem of shame or insecurities about memorizing my speech or afraid that people would think I'm robotic or something. I did what I could do. I don't settle and think about all the things I can't do right now. Like I didn't have the ability to sound charming or charismatic or coming up with improv humor on the spot. I did what I can. Right? This is what I can do. So what I did was I wrote every word, every gesture, every action. It got me to speaking. It encouraged me to start using speech. Then eventually it led to other things. So definitely when anxiety is a problem and if anxiety becomes dysfunctional, right? And yes, this might sound cliche. You either have someone be able to help you, that's a loved one, a family who knows this anxiety well, right? If you don't have that, then of course you still have yourself. And yourself, if you're already making sentences, speaking in English or what have you, you have things you can do for the time being until maybe someone comes along, like you meet your mate for life or a great person who just likes hanging around with you. You have similar interests. Until that comes around, right? There's a bit of a luck element here. There are so many things you can do in yourself to do that. I did not care if I sounded robotic. I had a starting position, right? And I did it well. I had the actions that I had. I don't have like a Word document of these things. I literally have introduction, breathe for 10 seconds, say the abstract, wait for questions for like 30 seconds. If these particular questions, I had contingencies, like where in my presentation will questions likely come up. I still actually use lots of these strategies when I'm working with something that I'm entirely out of my element. So I prepare all of these things. And at some point, they no longer feel like they're imitations. They're more like part of your toolkit. So yes, I can write a screenplay. That's why I was interested in direction and being a director. I was legitimately writing screenplays for myself. Whenever I have to give a presentation, it was in the form of a screenplay or dictation. And you can do that too, of course. You're gonna make me speak French with you when you start learning. I like your idea of writing stuff down. Yeah, start there. There have been cases where you can say something but was afraid of it being wrong, not even though it is not, so you refrain from speaking. Yeah, that's that's the additional emotional baggage that I was talking about. And that requires, I feel oftentimes that deals with the element of mutual trust, which I think, to me, without saying too much, it's a bit downstream. So when you start being less anxious, when you're able to find your magical combination of encouraging yourself to be less anxious, and then you're involved in more discussions, that vibe of feeling trust, you can, I think most humans will begin to intuit signals for trust. That whole idea of refraining from speaking and speaking like how personal you want to get, what level you're on, and that's downstream of this. So I would say a lot of the effort is up front and trying to encourage yourself to engage in speaking. This is a bit of a trust me situation, and I don't really like trust me situations. I'll say this very lightly. When you focus on how to initiate, lead, and respond, eventually your experience takes over for like that feeling of being afraid whether you're going to say the right thing or the wrong thing, because largely you've done it so often. It's kind of like playing a game where, let's say you play a Souls-like game, right? And you've already played Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, and then you're entering Elden Ring. You have lots of legacy skills. You've done them a lot. And that's how you can play another game. You can play Elden Ring because you have so many legacy skills, but they're not going to be exactly the same, right? And that's where the nervousness can come in. Maybe even performance anxiety. Speaking and communication is a performance art, so it has performance anxieties. And one of the performance anxiety is the concern if you're saying the right thing, right? Executing the right maneuvers in Elden Ring. You can read some of it, but they're going to be slightly different. So, but when you play the game, eventually your experience, the experience you vibe, make it so that when you reflect upon it, like after like the 100th run, you reflect upon it, it's like, I don't understand why I was nervous before. It's pretty much the same, but with a bit of adjustment from Dark Souls 1, 2, 3 to Elden Ring. Speaking and communication can be viewed that way from someone who's not like analytical. Like if you don't want to analyze any of these things, the idea is if you are unable to consistently gain experience, since you're reliant on vibing, right, immersion, find how you can enable yourself to gain more experience. And then the general consensus is you trust the process, right? This is trusting the process. unless somehow I'm convincing you that being analytical, like what I did, is super interesting and you want to change your life like that, that would be too much of an ask. So the way I got over it was analytically doing it. However, since you're mentioning how you're vibing and you're, switching between strategies all the time, experience is the TLDR against anxiety. And if you are able to address being able to put yourself more often in a situation and executing it, regardless if it's right or wrong in the sense of what you're thinking, if you can execute it, your experience will make you trust yourself and the whatever the condition is. And it's hard because the longer you don't do that, the harder it will be over time. And I don't know, obviously, your background. You might have spent many, many years already. There are other routes to doing this, but you don't strike me right now as the analytical type, because the other analytical people can find ways of hard practicing and then executing on that and then getting that. If you're vibing, the least, I would say the major focus is how do you get more experience? And that's what I meant by the strategy about hearing responses. Since if you're having trouble figuring out how to respond to someone properly, then think about creative ways that you can think about in your interest and whatnot. Since I don't know you, I don't know your interest in what you do on a regular basis. Find a way to expose yourself to other people's responses, and then you can sponge off that exposure. For example, I'll tell you one thing from my younger years. I learned how to smile before knowing what being happy is. Smile but not happy. I saw a lot of people, they smile when someone tells a joke or what is a joke. Like, I have to tell myself what is a joke. So I need to figure out what a joke is. And then when someone is joking, if everyone else is kind of like making this face, I learned to smile when, right? And for vibing, that's what you're looking for. So all the things that you have trouble with, you have to understand the nature of your anxiety. What is triggering your anxiety? And then you can go and you're going to try to use your creativity and find a source of exposure for that. And that's what I think a vast majority of internet goers, people who are chronically online, require. So if you can define in a journal or something, describe your anxiety, right? And then you go find where you can gain more XP by like observing, right? You said observing and listening are what you do best, which it makes sense. If you can describe your source of anxiety, then you know what to look for the experience. And that experience is what you'll sponge, because you're so much better at observing and listening. So if you're having trouble responding in Japanese, for example, what's a clever way to hear a lot of responses in Japanese? And my first thought is, you already do repo. So the next time you hop in the stream, come with prepared questions. And prepare questions that you have trouble answering. So one source of anxiety is oftentimes you already know what triggers your anxiety. You know it really well. Write out those situations. And then instead, you become the situation for the person. So say if someone asks you, do you like this game? Do you like this game, right? And that was the last question you couldn't answer because you were anxious, you don't know what to say, you're not sure what to say. Use this and ask your repo streamer do you like this game? Or what do you like about this game? And then you can use their answer to add to your journal or your notes. And if you ask enough people, do you like this game? Like another Japanese streamer or another person, eventually you'll get a lot of examples of how to answer, do you like this game? And in your head, you'll intuit it. Like, oh yeah, you know, I've heard this response a lot now. I don't need to think about it. There's no anxiousness because you've already heard it so many times. So one way to go about it, and this is the least analytical possible, because I know how boring it is if you're gonna go and I don't want to track my calories, or I don't want to, I just want the general idea. So anything that makes you anxious, in my opinion, describe it and flip the script and then see how other people interact. Then you're literally listening and observing to how they interact. So if initiating if you're initiating a if this is making you anxious, I'm not sure if this is making you anxious. I hope I'm not making you anxious. I'm speaking a little bit quickly. If this is making you anxious, write about what it is that makes it like anxious. Like, are you being pressured or not? Or you can also write, if I'm not making you anxious, what is it about me that makes you